I didn't waste a moment leaving after my dad told me to get out, right after I'd finished fixing up their house. "Your sister's moving in," he said, as if it was the most obvious thing in the world. I didn't argue. I just packed up and left. It took them 48 hours to realize the mistake they'd made. In hindsight, I should have seen it coming. The red flags were glaring. My parents were always the type to take more than they offered, treating generosity like a favor they were doing you. I overlooked it, clinging to the idea that family sticks together. When I hit a rough spot financially, I stayed calm at first. My contract job had ended unexpectedly, and though I had some savings, they wouldn't last long. Bills, rent, and daily expenses were mounting, and I needed a plan to stay afloat. Moving back in with my parents seemed like a practical solution, at least for a while. They had the room, and when I suggested it, they agreed instantly. But there was a condition. The house needed work. My dad pitched it as a fair deal. If I handled the repairs, I could live there without paying rent. I knew a bit about home improvement, and the bedroom I'd be staying in was in rough shape. The walls were cracked, the carpet was worn and filthy, the door was broken, and the hallway leading to it was falling apart. My dad made it sound like I was getting the better end of the deal. "You get a place to stay and we get a better house," he said. "It's a win for everyone." So I agreed. For nearly 2 months, I poured everything into the project. I started early each morning and worked late into the night, covered in grime and paint, my muscles sore from the labor. I ripped out the old carpet and laid new flooring. I patched the walls, repainted, replaced the door, and added built-in shelves for extra storage. The hallway was an even bigger job, replacing light fixtures, fixing squeaky floorboards, repainting, and repairing sections of the ceiling where plaster was flaking off. At first, I used whatever materials were on hand, but it soon became clear I'd need to buy most of the supplies myself. My parents never offered to chip in, and I didn't press them. I told myself it was fine because I was creating a space for myself. In total, I spent $3,700 on materials, flooring, paint, wood, tools, everything. I didn't track every penny because I thought it was worth it. I believed I was building something for my future. I should have known better. The day I finished, my dad called me over. My mom stood beside him, her face blank, as it always was when she was about to go along with whatever he said. I expected some gratitude, maybe a nod to the work I'd put in. Instead, my dad dropped the bombshell. "We've decided your sister's going to live here." I waited for him to laugh, to say it was a mistake, but he was serious. My mom nodded, acting like it was the most reasonable choice. I let out a short laugh, but they didn't join in. "What do you mean?" I asked. "We had an agreement." "She needs the room more," my dad said. My sister, who already had a decent apartment with her boyfriend, who hadn't lifted a finger to help with the house. I asked when they decided this. My dad shrugged. "We've been thinking about it for a bit. It's not personal." "Not personal, right?" I looked at the room, the one I'd spent nearly 2 months and almost $4,000 fixing up. I thought about arguing, about pointing out how unfair this was, about demanding they at least cover the costs I'd sunk into their house. But I knew them too well. They'd made their decision, and nothing I said would change it. So I stayed silent. I turned around, grabbed my things, and started packing. I'd been crashing in the living room during the renovations, expecting to move into the bedroom once it was done. Now I was being shown the door. They probably expected me to protest, to beg them to reconsider. I wasn't going to give them that. I left without a word. In the upcoming short video, catch the complete story with the channel link provided below.